All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick's Time to Power. So I want to talk about the recent decision by the IFBB to increase the weight limits of Classic Physique. So as of November 30th, 2017, they have increased the weight limits of all categories. So if you do not know how Classic Physique works, essentially it's by height and by weight. So if you're up to a certain height, you are limited to a certain weight cap that you can weigh on stage. So the highest being 6'7", and at 6'7", you can weigh 285 pounds. The lowest being 5'4", and at 5'4", is up to and including 170 pounds. So the main couple brackets that you're going to want to look at are the 5'7" to 5'10" category. So between 5'7" and 5'8", you can weigh up to and including 192 pounds now. Between 5'8" and 5'9", you can weigh up to and including 200 pounds. And between 5'9" and 5'10", you can now weigh up to and including 207 pounds. Now, this is the height that you're going to see the most of the majority of competitors that are placing the highest at these shows. They're typically somewhere between 5'7" and 5'10". So now their weight can be pretty much between anywhere between 192 and 207 pounds. So the real question is this a good idea for them to be increasing the weight limits of Classic Physique? Now, the whole idea of Classic Physique is to have something different than men's open bodybuilding, where guys are just pushing the mass as much as they can and getting as big as possible. Classic Physique was supposed to be kind of a dichotomy to that, and something completely different and a different representation of a muscular physique. Now, we've seen this happen already once in the women's division. So obviously the IFBB and NPC has been kind of making an effort to do away with or downplay women's bodybuilding, and they replaced it with women's physique. So women's physique, we've seen, from the inception of women's physique, where you had Dana Lynn Bailey winning the Olympia, to what we've seen now with Juliana Malacarne winning the Olympia. The progression of the physiques that we've seen in women's physique have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, all the way until now, to where they almost look exactly like female bodybuilding competitors used to look. They have a crazy degree of muscularity. They're starting to get kind of the facial structure that's starting to look kind of manly, and kind of all the things that really were female bodybuilding, a muscular woman, and starting to see these side effects of what it takes to get that muscle. We're starting to see that in women's physique already. So women's physique, in the short amount of time that it's been around, has evolved dramatically to where I don't really see a difference between women's physique and female bodybuilding. These are extremely muscular females that like to work out. They're still taking the drugs necessary, to maintain that muscle. It's almost the same thing as women's bodybuilding, except women's bodybuilding took it a little bit further than that. So in my opinion, I think by increasing the weight classes in Classic Physique, they're walking a very, very fine line here. If they keep pushing the weight limits up, they're gonna basically get something in between the 212 and the men's open is what they're gonna have. Right now, they have Classic Physiques, or they had Classic Physiques that were really, really limited in weight, and I think the weight caps in some categories were almost unrealistic. But when they're so low like that, these guys have to get even more conditioned and have to really limit what they're taking and what they're doing and how much they're growing to meet those weight caps. So you were seeing guys with really great Classic Physiques, but now if these guys can get bigger, now their conditioning can suffer a little bit. They can get a little bit more muscle, and they might lose some of those qualities that made their physiques Classic Physiques. They might get distended guts. They might start to have, bad conditioning. Their lines might not be as good. And these are all things that you want from a Classic Physique competitor. Now, I'm assuming the rationale behind this is because they don't want to lose any competitors to men's open bodybuilding. You get a guy like Chris Bumstead or one of these bigger guys decides, hey, I could go over to men's open and do pretty well for myself if I put on a little bit more muscle. So they're allowing them a little bit more wiggle room in Classic Physique to get bigger for those guys that think they should or could get bigger. And honestly, I think that's a mistake. I think they should keep Classic Physique simply as being a Classic Physique. It shouldn't be about how big you can get. It just should be about how classic your physique is, how well you can hit those poses, and how well you embody the idea of a Classic Physique. Once they start making it about weight and they start allowing you to gain more weight, and that becomes the goal, to be as big as possible in that weight cap, I think that's where you're going to start to see kind of a decline in the whole classic aspect of Classic Physique. So I want to know your guys' opinion in the comment section below. Do you think they should have increased the weight limit for Classic Physique, or do you think they should have kept it where it is? Because now, like I said, at that height, they can get up to 207 pounds, which is pushing the weight of a 212 competitor. Keep in mind, 212 used to be 202. So honestly, I think if they keep pushing that weight limit, it's just going to end up like women's physique, and it's going to become, a smaller version of bodybuilding, and that's not really what they want. They want Classic Physique, and they want, good conditioning, good lines, good proportions, and they don't want a big waist. So why let them get bigger and risk them losing that? So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.